We are live.
What it do? What it do? What it do? We here on another Monday with Rolling with Success on Boss Biz Radio. Y'all already know I'm Success. Jezebel the Truth. What up, Jezebel?
Hey, Six. Happy early birthday. It's Taurus
Yes,
season. Got the
yes.
horns coming
It
out.
is our time. It is our time. Listen, like, I'm not lying to you, like, it seemed like my birthday came fast this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it was because of COVID. I was in COVID last year when my birthday happened. And of
Yeah.
course, I'm in COVID still right now, and I feel like that the times are just flying by, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing for my birthday. Sure, Taurus, what you got planned for your birthday? You got any plans, or you don't even know yet?
Right now I'm going to Puerto Rico on Thursday as long as this COVID
Wow.
test comes back negative. And then I'll be going to Puerto Rico. But when I get back on my actual birthday, I was thinking about, I don't know, let's talk about this because sometimes we spend so much time, especially as tourists, we're givers. We spend so much time thinking about others, putting others before ourselves, that actually
Mm-hmm.
this year I don't know what I want for to do for my birthday for myself that doesn't include me paying for others. So it's
Well,
tough.
let me tell you what's crazy. Did you hear that starting 2021 birthdays, that if you bring people to your event, you have to pay? That's like the new rule now.
If you, yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't say it's a new rule. Because a lot of people, especially, I ain't gonna say my friends don't pay their way, but majority of the time, I gotta pick up the rest, because the stuff that it depends on what you want to do. But yeah, I understand. If you want to go on $1,000 boat ride, like, yeah, you
You
better go
gotta have
bring
a
the boat,
thousand
and I'm
dollars.
gonna show up.
Wow, yeah, like that's the new wave. So now people are saying there's a survey going around, and people are saying that they don't know if they want to have people around for their birthdays anymore because it seems that people are no longer givers and nobody wants to treat the birthday people like birthday people anymore.
Hmm.
I'm like, what's up with that? And like honestly, I feel like it's a conspiracy against us, Jezebel, because now this is starting to come out when it comes to our birthday. They see we got a little bit of money, and what's the first thing they want to do with us? They want to force us to pay for everybody. So
Hmm.
now, if it's okay, I don't know what I want to do for my birthday.
Yeah,
And
that's
I,
real.
are you at the age where you want to start playing where people are at for you, like what people
Yeah,
have planned for you?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's I'm there, Six. I'm really there. Like, I'm really looking this year, and I'm not expecting anything, but I know what I put out throughout the years. And I told somebody the other day, it's not that I don't want anything, it's just that I don't ask. See, other people, I don't hesitate to do for you. If I know you need something, you don't have to ask me, I'll do. So where are the people that's going to do that for me?
Yeah, like so. And just, do you have a person that you pick up the phone and I guess for men it would be called venting. For women it may be called something else, but it may not even really be called venting. But do you have someone that you could pick up the phone and be like, because I know I'm that person. Whenever someone needs something, I'm the guy that pick up the phone. Like, do you have someone that you pick up on?
My mom.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Mom Dukes is always gonna be like the good one. I stopped calling my mom. I had to because I was like, shoot, my mom ain't nowhere better than me, man. Let me stop calling my mom.
I mean, but I'm sure if I really, really, really needed something, nobody would have it.
It's crazy. What is so
Like,
if all your friends, if all your friends were where money's not an object and you know that they were givers, what would be something that you would want for your birthday? Just put it out there in
um,
the universe.
a surprise party because I'm a
Oh,
partier. So just like a surprise party with my friends there, and a Hennessy cake, and we don't even have to go to the club, like, or like something that involves us,
yeah.
loud music, dancing, and that's it. Everybody having fun.
My mom threw me a surprise party for my 21st birthday, Jezebel.
Hmm.
And I love my mom to death, but she did a horrible job throwing that surprise party.
Why you say that?
It was literally not one of my friends there. See, I'm a twin,
Uh-huh.
right? And I
Yeah,
think that
uh-huh.
my mom, I think that she was under the impression that since you guys are twins, your friends are the same friends. So
No.
yeah, that was the day that she learned that no, I don't like these guys. They're my friends, but not my besties. Not guys I would hang with. I mean, don't get me wrong. My brother's friends were the type of friends like, yes, we all would get in some trouble, but like they be outside fixing cars and
Mm.
things like that. You know, they're the type of people that build up stuff and put stuff together. Coaches, they real meticulous and strategize everything. Right,
Uh-huh.
my crew of friends, we more wild, more rambunctious. We more like whatever the night brings us, we ready for it type of guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you give us some good trees and a good setting, we'll be good sitting there for a couple of hours. We don't even need much. You know. I've learned though not to drink dark liquor around my friends.
Oh, wow. Why
It's
not? What does
crazy.
that do?
I turned into a evil mad scientist off of dark liquor. So I've learned that Patron is more settled. Now, when I'm hosting, I do drink Hennessy for some reason,
Hmm.
but I think because I never let my guard down when I'm hosting, you
Okay.
know. And of course, most of the events are sponsored by Hennessy. It's like, it's like why not? You know, I hate to be hosting the event and they see me like, no Hennessy, no Hennessy.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
no.
like this weekend really right was crazy for me because I was sitting here really trying to think about did I want to talk about something different this week on the show, right? But I was getting so many calls, so
Hmm.
many DMs, and so many messages about last week's show. And everyone knows, all our avids, last week was a two-part saga due to some issues at my home. Now, it was a great show. My man Ziggy Papito, and I hope that y'all definitely went and listened to his music and listened to his stuff, But I want to say my man came on here and dropped so many gems. I mean, Jezebel, did you leave here last week feeling a little like our show is reaching out to people and really the education is really starting to touch on?
I'm still here. Wait. I'm still here. Sorry. Yeah. Um okay. So yeah, I pretty much enjoyed Papito just talking about ownership in general and just the knowledge that he has as an artist. And I encourage all artists to do your reading and just try to learn the business a little bit more because he seems like he really be paying attention.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see how far the knowledge takes him, which is getting him pretty far right now. But at the same time, knowledge versus no knowledge. Would you rather pick up a book and learn the business, or would you rather just let somebody lead you
And,
and not
and you
have
know
no
what's
knowledge
crazy?
at all?
And that's what's crazy, right? Because the most powerful thing he said, and I have never said this to anybody, but picking up the book is kind of like he said, picking up the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, researching things on the internet and researching anything or asking word of mouth, you're at the liberty of what you're asking, right? So if you type on Google and you ask them, most of you artists, I know what you type in. You don't type in the right questions. You type in questions that say, how can I get paid as an indie artist? Well, that's going to give you so much crazy stuff on Google. It may deter you a little bit. But now, if you pick up a book, like the book that I've been saying, I, I, I use it as my Bible, Business and Music, Donald Paston, then guess what? you're no longer subjected to the click,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're no longer
Right.
subjected to what the user or the question restricts you to. Now, I tell a lot of people this is my thing. It's not the questions that you're asking why you're not getting the right answers. You know, you're asking all the right questions. The problem is there's so many more questions. Who
Yeah.
wants? Who wants to? I asked a label called me the other day, and shout out to the label. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but shout out to Gas House Records. You know, they called me the other day, and they got a fleet of
You say
artists.
gas house?
Now, Gas R Us Records, like
Okay.
a play on clothes for Gas R Us. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to my man at Gas R Us Records. They hit me up. They got a fleet of artists, and 2021 is really like their launch year. They're gonna take off and take off. Right? They did everything the right way. They got their resume together. They approached the labels, got the distribution deal together. Now they're taking off. So he watches the show and he says, "Man, I got a question for you, man." He said, "I want to make sure that my label has our publishing company everything down straight. I want to make sure that all my artists are getting their royalties right. And
Mm-hmm.
like, how can I do that?" I said, "Well, it's simple, man. You just got to make sure you register and everything y'all do. How many of y'all is it?" He says, "Well, it's about 10 of us." I say, "Okay, that's gonna be, a lot of paperwork, but you can teach everybody that, or you can do it for the label or hire somebody for the label." And
Mm-hmm.
he said, "I can't jump down that rabbit hole. Um, so I'll just pay for it to be done." Right? Now, a lot of people will not think that way. A lot of people will jump down the knowledge rabbit hole, spend about a couple of years to gain that knowledge, and before you know it, you gain a lot of knowledge, but the years have passed. A lot of people that have money, they pay for this knowledge for people to utilize it and push them ahead. These are what we call
Mm-hmm.
SMEs. And what is the type of word? What is the word it is? Project
Hold on. Say
management.
that again. The type of people that do what now?
They're the type of people that, okay, so they are type of people that will pay people to get them where they need to be. And
Right.
those people that they pay are the SMEs. And what you guys need to understand about SMEs is that's a project management word, and everybody, if you don't understand one thing about you as an artist, and really for not just as an artist, you as a person, you're a project. You know what I'm saying? Like every day you wake up, you're a project. How you plan on delivering yourself at work? How you plan on delivering yourself to make your money? How you plan on delivering yourself to live your life and to be presentable to people is a project that you have to put in play. Now, the thing about it is, I want everybody to take out of music and look at like what I said as putting yourself as a person as a project. Now, we all know that as people, as babies, we don't know. We'll run around with our pamper on all day long. And when we learn to take our
Mm-hmm.
pamper off, a lot of babies will rip their pamper off and run around naked. Someone has to
Right.
teach them that you have to get dressed when you go out in public. Now, 9 times out of 10, someone that's teaching them to get dressed is not just teaching them to get dressed, they're also taking them to clothing stores because they don't know how to get to make the clothing. So their subject matter, their experience, their sneeze is the clothing store because they have baby clothes and they want to teach this
Mm-hmm.
baby how to start dressing and how to start being it. And that's the project, teaching this baby now how to dress. Then it's time to learn how to eat and things of that nature. Like as these steps go on, and when you become older, these same things that you learn as a baby, you address them when you get older. But then you start saying, okay, well now how can I make these things work for me? Because now I'm my own person. No one is telling me what to do. How am I
Mm-hmm.
gonna figure out how I'm gonna make my own money? Some of y'all get it. Some of y'all like to sit in your house and play your PlayStation all day. I like to play my PlayStation all day too. Some of y'all was to sit in your mom's house and, hey mom, I'm hungry. Hey mom, Cracker Jacks. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people who understand, I got to get out of here. People that go to college, they say, I want to be the sneeze one day. I want to be the person that they come to. So I'm going
Oh,
to
the
invest.
subject matter expert. That's what you're saying. I'm like, what does
Yes,
he mean sneeze? Why he keep saying sneeze? I'm like,
sneeze. Yes,
wait.
yes. That is project management word. But yes,
Okay,
the
yeah.
subject matter
Sneeze. I
expert.
know what it is. I just had to
Yeah.
like hear you.
And like that's what I like, and people understand that. That's what I'm saying. SME, right? Subject matter experts. That's a
Mm,
acronym. I think that's the word they use. Acronym when it's
yeah.
syllables or whatever. I mean letters that mean something. But long story short, you know what I'm saying? Or not long story short, but what I'm trying to say is that what Papito was able to do took him, like he said, all his life to gain that knowledge. Now Pito is at the point where he can be making 1,500, $2,000 a show because he's putting that work. He's at the point where his royalties are coming in and he's gonna be able to do because he's putting that work. But now these artists are coming in at 18 and 19 and 20 years late in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like because the game is already running, right? What are
Mm-hmm.
y'all willing to? How much time are y'all willing to invest to learn these things? Because it is definitely in a book. I mean, I read a book. I read a book. I read a book all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But come on now, like we want to get to the money. I know what everybody out there saying. They want to get to the money. Now we ain't gotta sit up here and pull each other's legs and tell each other um stories that's bogus. You know what I'm saying? We all know what everybody wants. We all want to make some money. So like now, Jezebel, that's where we at, right? Because we here, we like every Monday we want to create a platform that gives us knowledge, right? That gives us
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. But like I want to elaborate on things from last week's show, right? I wanna touch bases on what indie artists should really be expecting when they in this industry. Like and exactly 30 years. I want indie artists to know, like, what are you really supposed to expect? Because I think a lot of you, this is what I think, because, and I'm going to tell you why I think this, and if I'm wrong, y'all can tell me I'm wrong in my DM or probably leave a comment on my Facebook page if y'all think I'm wrong. But this is where the problem comes in. We don't think that it's going to be hard because we're basing it off of what we think our talent is. We
Mm-hmm.
imagine that when we walk into a building, that someone is there and he or she is going to put us on a magical carpet ride and fund our whole career and take us to the next person and get us a deal like in the movies, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I thought. I thought that when I got on that stage, and like I used to research, ooh, this promoter shows I hear they packed. I hear such and such is in there. I hear such and such is in there is a critical, crucial word used by indie artists. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I find this hilarious because as indie artists, we don't expect this, but it happens. We all walk into the club. How many artists have performed for big artists that they were really excited to meet and spent the whole time holding up the wall because they don't want to walk to another section or haven't even went backstage to meet that artist?
Mm-hmm.
You actually wait till you perform and you like, he's going to see me perform and I'm going to kill it. Well, let me tell you what you really should expect as an indie artist. You should expect no one to listen to you until you have demanded their attention. You should expect when you walk into a club, no one is there to see you. You have to make a fan base. Even if you're walking in a club 50 deep, which I tell you this, if you're an indie artist and you're walking into a club waiting around and you're 50 deep, you're not thinking smart. You know, you're not thinking smart. Let's see what this said here. Oh, this would be what they see and instantly think it's overnight. I hear the funny part about this, I hear a lot of artists ask, where did he come from? You know, um,
What do you
it's
mean? Where did he come from? He was grinding.
like I didn't never hear Pooh Shiesty before I heard Get It Back in Blood, but he was taking over and doing his own rap. A
He was
lot
on
of
a
people
Gucci
don't.
song. He was on a Gucci song prior to that. I forgot what song is called, but yeah, that's the only reason I know. You know me and my Gucci
Apparently,
shit.
apparently, Gucci is the one that said that he heard him and he
Mm,
been following him for years, listening to his underground music for years.
yeah, see,
Now,
now I
I
ain't.
remember when I remember when I first started like seeing my name on Google when I typed in success. I was like, oh wow, it used to say underground artist, right? And I was really excited about that. And I
Mm,
was like, well, wait, like at a point, I'd be like, wait, I want to be a musical artist. I don't want to be underground artist. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? What did you do to not be underground artist anymore? Started doing mainstream stuff, right?
right.
And that's a common sense thing because, like I said, what are you supposed to expect? What do you expect as an indie artist, or what should you expect as an indie artist? You should
Mm,
expect to make yourself as prominent figure as you see whoever it is that made you want to get into the game. Now, a lot of you artists like to sound really big and impressive, and like to say things like, "Oh, nobody inspired me to get in the game. I inspired myself." Um, oh, I don't move like nobody. Well, the thing about it is, when you say that, you're actually moving like a lot of other people. There's a lot of people that feel like that's their MO, that's their style, their original, they're the creators of this. And like I told everybody, y'all, the era of originality is it really originality is it really still here? When was the last time we seen the original? And like I'm not telling y'all to go out and copy people because if that's how people go and do, then that's that's up to y'all. But what I am saying is, like, an architect doesn't learn how to build buildings by saying, I don't have to follow an architect. You know, there's no architect that inspired me. Like, he saw architect, he figured out how what he did to build his building, and he said, I can do this. And he did his own thing to the game, but he used the same platform. Like, the art of recording is one thing in the whole world that's constant, right? It has never
mm.
changed. The art of grabbing someone's voice and sharing it to the world has never changed from the very minute that it first happened. So we're trying to reinvent the wheel, and everyone is trying to find a new sound, but they're trying to find a new sound with sounds already in the thing. So what should we expect as indie artists? Should we keep expecting to like break our new sound? Should we be expecting to break off of someone else's sound? Well, the thing about it is the people that pull you up already have a sound they like. That's why it's called genres. I never ever, I don't know if there is this genre called, but I've never seen someone type in the internet or when they're looking for music on iTunes or Spotify. I've never seen them type in new genre created today. What's for new genre created today?
But you know what? There's only one person I could think that was successful at being a total copycat and still had success with it. Even though we don't hear too much about him now, I would say designer.
Well, see, designer is a weird and funny, interesting situation, right? Because designer's a kid, right?
Fact.
He was a kid and he's drafted to keep an era going. He was signed to keep an era going, right? So if you're that's like here I'm gonna go sports on everybody real quick because I like sports analogies because everybody can understand sports analogies. I'm the quarterback of a team and I've led that team to several championships. when my time starts coming to an end, they're going to start looking for a replacement me to bring them championships. If they bring you in and I'm still playing at a high level, then you can sit on the bench for years and get yourself together and become right? Until I'm ready to work out and now you can have it. So design is an interesting situation. But let's just play along with a designer type artist, the artist that, because like I said, I don't want artists out. I don't think artists should copycat. You know what I'm saying? I don't think artists should do anything when it comes to copycatting styles. I think that when I want people to understand it, when I say what I'm talking about is not the music, because I can tell all of y'all right now that it's not about your music. As a matter of fact, I'll go out on a limb and tell y'all I don't care about none of y'all songs, right? And that's not in a harsh way. I love y'all music. I would love to hear and listen to it. But I don't. I want y'all to get out of your mind that I'm not on because my music is bad. I'm not on because no one likes my music. I'm not on because no one is listening to me, or I have to make that one big hit and then I'm a star. I want y'all to get that out of y'all head.
So what
All
is it
y'all,
then?
well, it's it's funny. I like how you said that. Well, what is it then, right? Jezebel. I've been saying it for months now.
Hmm.
It's business. You see what I'm saying? I mean, look. What's the difference between a mom and pop store and a 7-Eleven?
You said what's the difference between a mom and pop store and a
And a
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven.
A
Yes.
7-Eleven is a franchise. I mean, that's the only thing, pretty much, and it has I want to say a standard set of um, rules or code of conduct or whatever you call it, like a
Yeah.
standard set of things that each 7-Eleven have to do. Mom
Yes.
and pop shops kind of do their own, like it's a standard guidelines as far as getting permits, but they kind of run their own rules more, so they have more flexibility, I would
Yes.
say.
And they have to survive off word of mouth and
Hmm.
neighborhood presence, community presence, I should say.
Hmm.
And that's no difference between an indie artist and an artist side. Yeah, like so if an artist is out there and he has horrible music no one likes, but he's in everyone's face performing. He's taking care of all his paperwork. He's registering all his music, and and he's performing out of the wazoo, even no one's listening and no one's paying him attention. Let's say no one is paying him any attention. He's still making more money than the artist running around, jumping around, and everybody knows all his songs, and he's not doing this.
How? I mean, but why? Hold on, wait.
And he has a better opportunity. He has a better chance because man, like he has a better chance if he's showing himself able to play the game. He knows the business, right?
Hmm.
I mean, a mom and pop store, they can survive. Yes, they can survive, right? But at
Uh
the
huh.
end of the day, if there's a 7-Eleven and a mom and pop store right there, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna hit the 7-Eleven real quick. Use my points. You know, there's like you said, there's a
It
stand
depends on what you're going for,
like roll ups.
because around here, our mom and pop, a lot of our mom and pops joints sell hot breakfast. So, and I'm talking about cracking the eggs in front of you, hot breakfast. So it depends on what you're going for.
Yeah, see, that's their niche, right? That's their niche. And if and like, unless I live in your neighborhood, I won't ever be able to experience that. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And unless you tell me that, unless you as a fan tell me that, I'm gonna ride past that place looking for a 7-Eleven all the
Hmm.
time,
Right,
right?
because of the brand. Hmm.
And because the marketing, and in music, it's called the marketing, the promotion. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? The workload. I mean, a lot of artists don't really understand that. When you say that, they say I want to be indie, but don't understand what indie is. Don't want to like, even though you're indie, what should you expect being an indie artist? You should expect to move like a major label is moving. You should
Yeah.
expect to do what a major label is doing. I mean,
Hmm.
how can you call yourself in the music industry if you don't do what the music industry does? Rather you're a mom and pop store or a franchise like 7-Eleven, you still have a duty to sell stuff.
Facts.
You still have a duty to know the business, the rules, the guidelines of selling and making money. So it gets trippy when an artist say I'm indie, and then you say, well, most of the artists don't like telling their budget. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. But when you ask them like, all right, well, what do you have? What do you got? You know what I'm saying? What's your resume looking like? You know, what are you saying? Because a lot of y'all say I want to own my masters, I want to own my publishing, and I want to own this and that. And I get it, y'all hearing all the old rappers that y'all look up to saying, "Ooh, I got screwed," right? And
Hmm.
that's scary when you think, dang, my favorite artist got screwed. Prince said, keep my masters. So I want to definitely make sure I keep my masters.
Hmm.
Now, I get I get artists when you're in the game, y'all, and you already done what you need to do to prove yourself, then yes, you should be calling the plays. I need y'all to understand that. There's levels to this. All y'all artists that I do that tell me Prince says own your masters, y'all are not Prince. And if it wasn't for the labels, the masters that Prince is telling himself that he needs to own would be worthless. So the idea is to put yourself in positions where you can be partnerships. But we all know, like I said, y'all, I used to be a hustler too. We know the plug ain't gonna never let you be the plug.
Uh-huh.
You may be the plug in your neighborhood, nigga, but you ain't about to be the plug. And all you people that think that you can be the plug, y'all learn the hard ways. You learn the hard way.
Now, a lot of interesting stuff has come up since Black Rob's passing, which was a couple of days after DMX passing, and it's in regards to musicians and being artists out here. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about this today, Success, because I think this is a very valid topic. Now, Black Rob had suffered some type of liver health issues and et cetera, et cetera. And he, at one point, had health insurance provided by, I think, the label, if I'm not mistaken. And I assume when he was not as active, he stated that he was dropped from the insurance, which then he couldn't afford the medication, which then could lead to the possible deterioration of his health. Now, do you believe that artists, musicians should be indefinitely um, insured with health insurance because of the work that they put in? Like, if you make a label millions of dollars and you just so happen to fall off musically, but they're still making money off of your music, should they provide these artists with some type of health insurance?
All right, y'all, get y'all pitchforks ready, because I know y'all get y'all pitchforks ready, man. But I gotta answer this honestly. And I still think about myself, right, as an artist
Hmm.
and as a person, and hopefully one day to sign with a label, and even with the label that I work with now, you know what I'm saying, like in the music that I have out, I still will say this honestly. No, it is not the label's job to take care of the artist's health. And here is why I say. Now, I get why you're working for me and you're on the road, you're on tour. Yes, I want to make sure that your health is straight because let's just be real. The reason why you got health insurance at your job is because they want to get you back healthy to get back behind the desk. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So if I know that I leave my job my job's health and benefits are going to be canceled and done.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
and when it comes to music, because like I said, we all have to understand this, y'all. I need y'all to really get this. If the label makes money off your record, then you make money off your record. And if you're not making money off your record, and the label still is making money off your record, um, I hate to tell y'all this, but that artist was already paid, right? Handsomely. Now, whatever they asked for at the time, they got it because that's the only reason that you're not going to be getting paid when the label's getting paid. If you haven't met your obligations to the label, then you won't get paid when the label gets paid. I mean, let me give y'all a scenario here, right? And I don't know Black Bob's scenario, but let me give y'all a scenario. This is how a contract usually looks. You'll come into a label, and the label options will be like 3 albums with option of a fourth album. Usually, how that works is they'll tell you that they're going to give you $100,000 budget, $200,000 budget, whatever that budget is, they're going to give you that budget. Now, you as the artist, you'll have an advance on that budget, or you may not have an advance on that budget. However, that I'll go to later on. What I'm saying is, you're going to get this budget, and this budget is going to be set $100,000. Now, in that, it's going to say that you have to give us 3 albums, and your first album has to reach 100,000 sales, and then you have to give us 3 singles off that album that reach 100,000 sales. Right now, what happens is a lot of artists get on these deals, and they're like, "Oh, easy! I'm going to easily sell 100,000 units." Right now, what y'all don't
Right.
understand is the label is never ever going to take a loss. Their bonus that they give you or their budget that they set for you is already what they're saying we're willing to put into this artist,
Okay.
right? So if they put in $100,000 or $200,000 or $1 million into you as the artist, that label is saying I'm going to put up my own million to make sure this artist makes his money, makes
Mhm.
money back, right? Now, if y'all think that the label don't already have in their head how much that budget is already going to make them, they know. I gave Jezebel 100,000 last year. She made 300,000. We're going to do the same thing with Success. And guess
Mhm.
what, people? You're going to follow the exact same steps. Like Jezebel going to be saying, "I did that last year, bro." And it's
Mhm.
like, what? Okay, sweet. And eventually, if she stopped working, then we'll catch up to where now you're seeing Success and Jezebel collaborations, where
Mhm.
we're on the stage together. You know what I'm saying? Because now, not that it has called hers because she stopped working. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, 'cause that's how that works, right? So when that happens, a lot of artists they hit these deals and their single hits maybe millions because they popping, right? Their single hits millions, but there's the deal says 3 singles and 1 album, right? So if
Mhm.
two of those singles hit 999, don't hit that 100,000 mark. Unfortunately, even if you gave them the album, you failed to meet your obligations, and that's where a lot of artists get it real hard. They don't go back in and continue the obligations. They get on to the next project. They like, I need an advance. I need an advance. Well, you're probably not going to get that advance because you didn't meet that obligation. So now you stuck
Mhm.
in limbo. And like I said, the label ain't missing their money. They already done
Mhm.
made their money back. They looking at you like how you gonna make your money back, you know? And of course,
Right.
I want all your answers like, oh, I'm gonna owe the label this money. If you think that the label is about to be on your back like Comcast, like every month you owe me every month, like, nah, you gotta get that out your rabbit head, right? Because that's not how it works. It's all on workload, right? So it's like you sign for $1 million, you'll be working until you make $1 million. And then when you make that $1 million, now you're working to make yourself $1 million. You
Mhm.
know? And when people say 360s are bad, 360s are bad, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. How can 360 be bad If you don't know what a 360 is, a 360 deal is when the record label was saying that we're going to put up all the advance, we're going to put up all the money, we're going to put up all the back end, but we want a percentage of everything that's associated with you. Okay? And that's what a 360 deal, where everything comes full circle back to the label. Now, usually with 360 deals, there's a big advance with that. Now you're saying artists get 30 million, 20 million, 10 million,
Mhm.
6 million. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing these numbers go out. And we ask ourselves, why would he ever sign for that much? And I say to all you artists, if you're not an artist who's bringing in $100,000, $200,000 residually on your income, don't talk to any artist about why he signed the deal.
Mm.
I opened up this artist's BMI, right? He,
Mhm.
he, he says he wasn't making any money on his BMI. He actually tried to tell me some things like he was signed with some labels and he wasn't making any money on his BMI. And I asked him, why? I thought you had a BMI. He said, I
Mhm.
do, but my label takes care of everything. I said, well, do you know your login information? He did. I said, well, log in. Let me see what you're doing. This guy had not one song registered. Got a whole album out. Now, we ask ourselves as indie artists, we say, I gotta get a job. I'm not making no money. I'm not doing what I wanna do in this music industry. I'ma quit.
Mhm.
Well, the small things that you have to do in this business, why don't you do them? How bad do we really want to make it? It's crazy,
Yeah.
Jessica, because, like I said, how can we expect the label to pay for a man's health insurance, right? After a man is actively not working anymore.
I mean, but shouldn't there be some type of retirement plan or something?
So, in this song I wrote, in this game, there's no pension. So, to the end of your existence, you gotta go and get it. You gotta go get it. And like y'all, like we gotta understand something. When we in the industry, we although it's like all right, this gonna sound crazy, right? But this is how I say it. It's like slaves, right? It's slaves, outdoor slaves and indoor slaves, right? Now
Right.
we gotta acknowledge I don't wanna be naive to the fact that we're all still some form of slavery, right, going on systematically. There's still some type of slavery. So artists that are like indie and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
then you have a bigger argument, you know what I'm saying, of the slave system. Is really whipping you every day, right? But then when you get in the industry, you become like a house nigga. They treat you better than that. You pull out the fiddler, old fiddler, you know what I'm saying? You get to go to all the other houses, all the other big houses and play. You might got your little horse, you know what I'm saying? So with these luxuries, you're supposed to be thinking ahead. You're supposed to not be thinking like the field niggas. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be thinking like niggas when they got that. Like, bro, like the first thing you're supposed to be doing is putting your health first because you're now in the game. You're in the house. You're hearing them talk about these things. You're supposed to take
Mhm.
care of these things off the bucks, right? It's like if I go on the road, like as a rapper, if you go on the road, if a lot of rappers out here that's really doing a lot of capping and stuff like real gangster shit in their music, the first thing they don't invest in is security. That's crazy to me.
I
That's
mean,
why
but why
Takashi
they
still.
need security if they go hard?
Well, we asked why Takashi still alive, right? I mean, come on. It's called investment. It's called knowing the game that you get into and being fully prepared for that joint. I mean, look, young, I, I commend all the indie artists that go out to clubs and stick around by themselves and meet people. Because that's the scariest game right there. Just standing, just indie artists go on to nightclubs right, is Dangerous Alone. And that's been since the 50s, 60s, 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You fucking around get shot after the jukebox. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the, like that's there. So
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man, like this, you know what we getting into. We know the game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. Look, I thought, man, this is really off subject, but this is what we talk about on our show. I thought singing niggas was off limits, but last week I found out that Baby Blue is actually a rapper of the group Pretty Ricky. Now, have you been following that,
I
Jezebel?
seen the headline. What happened? He got shot or something?
Yes. Baby
He
Blue was
getting
shot.
robbed or something? It
And,
seemed shit some
I like to use
what?
the word. I like to use the word allegedly. Now,
Allegedly shot or
yeah,
being allegedly robbed.
yes, I would like to use that. So, and he was shot allegedly, and attempted robbery, alleged attempted robbery, and he pretty much had a viral moment there, right? He was at one of his release parties or a party or something. He stepped outside by himself, got shot. Next thing you know, he's in the hospital. Well, now fast forward to how I found out he's a rapper. He posted some very interesting images and captions on Instagram. And the
Uh-huh.
caption read, I'm in here with tubes and everything everywhere. But it'll all be worth it if y'all make me the biggest rapper in the world.
That's what he
Now,
said.
what like can
That's
we
not
say
what he said.
said? Can we say said or is that what his status? That was his status. That was his status. So those were his words. It's like Instagram is now like the Bible. It's like the word underneath of our pictures should be in red. It should be like success said. That's what it should be. Now, I would like to see Instagram work on some type of text that where if we're texting and it's our thoughts, it should go into red when it looks like we're saying it. Because I think that now I want to start documenting my life like a Bible, right? I want to have the book of success. And I don't know how many chapters, I don't know what the biggest book in the Bible is, but what I'm thinking to myself is the book of success should be one of the biggest chapters in this new Bible, like a hip hop Bible or something like that. We should have the book of Kanye, the
Hmm.
book of Jay Z, the book of Tupac. We should also have the book of Biggie, although we all know that that section could be very short, so that would be like one of those quick stretches in the Bible. But definitely there will have to be a book of success. And I would want my pages and my words to be in red. And that would be something that I would think of. But like off my rant for a second, but back on that. I didn't know Baby Blue was a rapper. But it goes to the length that rappers are willing to go to be at the top of this rap mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
rap's mountain is elite. So now I don't like when I hear indie artists say that they're the best or that no one has heard them or like they put themselves on a real pedestal. Now, do I do that to myself? I can honestly tell y'all I do not. I have never ever like put myself on a pedestal. Do I like when I hear that I'm on a pedestal? Yes, I do. You know?
Hmm.
But like I've been seeing artists going through, I guess, identity crisis, man, right? And that's of course what should we expect as indie artists, right? Because
Identity
that's the
crisis.
yes, and that's the thing today, y'all. I want y'all to understand that's the thing. What should you really expect from indie being an indie artist, right? Identity crisis. And you realize now, if you haven't realized, Jezebel, artists are now singing more. Rappers are now singing more.
Hmm.
Um, Auto tune is like now my favorite thing to use. I love it. I fucking love it. I don't even know. what the
Yeah.
hell just happened to me down here in Atlanta, but I love it. But what I'm realizing is I heard a track from my and he's a real hardcore street rapper, right? But I heard a track from him and he was like whining, singing the whole time. It's like he heard auto tune for the first time and he just whined the whole track, you know. Now, what I'm not gonna do is say his name on the air. What I
Why
will do is say
not? You say
what I
he's a
will.
rapper from where?
He's from Disney. He's from Disney.
And he's a
But
gangster rapper
he's a
from the
hardcore rapper. Yeah.
DMV,
Yes.
and he was whining on the singing on the song.
No, not
Now,
singing. Singing has keys to it and melody and nice. He just he just he just looked like somebody finally
oh
turned on the auto
man,
tune button.
is he tall or
And
short?
it was horrible, right? It was like go back to the hardcore stuff, right? But when you indie, you go through these identity crises, right? You
Hmm.
don't know because you gotta expect this. No one's gonna tell you. No one's gonna tell you tight, bro. No one's gonna tell you tight, man. Yes, you make it rap. Yes, you make that bars, but no one's gonna tell you. You have to go in and you have to own it. You just gotta stay consistent and drop music and expect for people that don't know you to give you your kudos and your flowers. Like, let me tell you what's funny, Jezebel. So I am
Hmm.
on tour right now. I am currently on tour, right? I have a show, damn,
Uh-huh.
I mean, every day, every night, right? I have a show every night. Now, I remember there was a time when I used to post every single flyer at every event that I did. And I'm
Hmm.
not gonna lie, I did it because I wanted my friends to come. I wanted my
Hmm.
people that are following me on my social media. I wanted to like see them at one and pop out, right? And be like, hey, what's up, social media buddies? Right, like that, right?
Hmm.
Then I got to the point where I realized I am in a fucking fairy tale world if I think that my friends and my family and my Facebook buddies and my Instagram buddies are about to come to my show. I
Why wouldn't
realized that,
they?
I realized this, y'all. Hardcore people, I'm not gonna say hardcore fans, right?
Hmm.
Hardcore people at the indie stage, and we can start saying indie stage, but at the indie stage, hardcore people are only following you to really make sure you're not doing better than them.
Hardcore people.
Yes.
And what do you
Those
mean
are
by hardcore
the
people?
hardcore people are the people that like everything that you post, comment on everything that you post, follow you on every social media site, but you never see them anywhere.
Oh yeah, I know.
Don't got not don't they, well, it's people that I know that's been following me for years that say things like this to me. You do music?
Yeah, I know what you're
So,
talking
so,
about.
so it gets interesting, right? But then it's like
Hmm.
when they see what they call hardcore fans and things like that, then they want to be like, hey bro, hey sis, hey fam, right? Because that's the
Hmm.
indie. That's what you should expect as an indie artist.
Mm.
Until you generate people that these people don't know, because these hardcore people they are
Hmm.
territorial and they jealous, right? They
Hmm.
look at you and they like, oh my god, who are these people that's talking about your music? Why haven't I heard it yet? I don't know. Why didn't you tell me you had a show last night? All these people talking about your show was lit last night. I don't know. Eh, what was I don't know. You know, like, what y'all want to talk about? But this is what you should expect and the artist people like expect this, like because I want to tell y'all something. If you were to say out your mouth after high school, I'm going to law school and become a lawyer, Guess what you started saying your friends do? They'd have hugged you, they'd have cried, they'd have went their way. Except the ones that may want to be lawyers too. If you said, I want to be a doctor, they'd have hugged you, they'd have cried, and walked away. Now, I like the people that jump into any industry. Like I like the people that play basketball, right? And then like you never see them really like try out on no teams, but they play the shit out of some basketball and they say, I'm going to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And then it's like I like what I see. This is what I like even more. I like that the NBA has provided in the mental of people that you don't need an education, right? It's like just finish high school and you can go to the NBA. So I think that's amazing. But it's really something that people should really pay attention to that those people that happened to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those people were invested for years. Sometimes, sometimes you like I mean like they talking about little LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? You can have my I need him. You know what I'm saying? Nah man, stop that. But like we have these athletes, like
They
but we
starting
have
up today. Hey
you know
y'all.
they cut that. But we have these situations where you see an athlete like a LeBron James, like a Kobe
Mm-hmm.
Bryant. I mean, damn, these niggas was getting watched since sixth grade. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So when you really think about it, in sixth, seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, 8, 9 years that they put in work. So now, in the honest, why do you think it's 104 you in 6 months and one record? Now, I know before y'all start crucifying me, I know female artists are popping up left and right, and they seem to be able to just do one little quick little session and they pop in. And I really need y'all to understand something. That is really not my doing. I did not do this. However, what y'all have to understand is what we said in the beginning of the show sneezes, right? Now, females are smart. They are not. These female artists are not about to waste time at all. If a
Mm-hmm.
nigga tell them it's $1,000 and you gonna be in a session with such and such and that record gonna get you such and such, you know what that female is doing? She's pulling out that $1,000 and she's catapulting. And it's crazy, y'all, because let me tell y'all something that I see, right? I seen this female artist perform at a show, walk into the show, and ask, "Wait, how much is it for me to do a whole set and get a whole section?" And her girlfriends pulled it out and just knocked it out. Ended up performing like a whole goddamn 30 minutes, right? Now, a male artist came up and said, "Oh, how they get 30 minutes?" You know? I say, "Shit, man, they just paid that nigga such and such to do that shit." Man, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was his mentality. And he wanted to proceed to talk to me. And I'm like, bro, I just host the show, bro. I just call them as they tell me who's performing. And I just keep it going, bro. But he's like, man, I'm the hottest nigga in here. Like, they need to hear me. When they hear me, you gonna be seeing it. You know what I'm saying? And I like, honestly, no bullshit. I really wanted to see him. So he stuck around and we put him on. Everybody left out the fucking club when he performed. Everybody walked the fuck out. In the club, he just talking and everybody went outside the smoke. You know,
Why he
so
performing?
yeah, why like as soon as his motherfucker hook started, and it was gospel, it was gospel, you know, but
It was
as soon,
gospel?
no God awful, it was
Oh,
gospel,
okay.
yeah, right? So as soon as he started performing this little hook, I mean, before his hook was done, people were walking off, right? And I stood around and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this guy is really going down in fucking flames. He comes to me and says, why they all leave when I start performing. Now, I never tell them his music is trash. Hey, so dog, the nigga's name. I'm sorry, not the nigga. The artist's name. Hold on, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. Because of course he sent me an Instagram message like asking me like telling me that that wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like people shouldn't have done that to him. And I agree. You know, I did agree. And I was like, ugh, people should not have walked off on you like that. And Jezebel, you know the yeah, that's the new word of the day, y'all waffle. So lock that one in, lock that one in, and got listen. I'm gonna find his name. Y'all got me off kilter. I'm gonna find his name. Hold on, here we go. I'm wrong messages. Hold on, y'all. Got
Wow.
so many goddamn messages. But he was godful. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it was, I didn't want to tell him, but I'm like, bro, like you gotta learn how to work the stage. You know what I'm saying? You can't come off aggressive. Like you can't expect what you see another artist do. You know what I'm saying? And you can't put false expectations on yourself. Now,
Mhm.
it wasn't just the fact that his raps was bad. You know what I'm saying? His voice was off. His vocals was not mixed. You know, he was trying to do dance moves, and those wasn't cool. You know, and I had to tell him like, as a man, I told him I said you should go back and work on it. You know, you should go back and you should real live work on that project. Now, I don't like to give this type of promotion on our show because this is bad publicity. But I am gonna find this message that he sent me right after the show. I keep all of my messages, and that's hilarious. I keep
I
all of
wish you.
my messages, y'all. But what I am gonna tell y'all, here we go, right here. All right, y'all. So now I hope that he does not hate me for this, but King Styles was his name. Um, and if y'all want to follow him on Instagram, he's just started the OnlyFans. King Styles the Don. King underscore Styles with a Z underscore the underscore Don. And y'all can tell him I sent you. I sent y'all. And yeah, check the music. He also has just started the OnlyFans as I went to his Instagram and see he started the OnlyFans. Which goes to let y'all know exactly what I was saying about male artists and gotta stop trying to do everything they see done. Now, we know he first he in the show, mad because the female got more time than him. Now he's joining the OnlyFans because females making money on it. Y'all gotta cut this out, right? But let me back to what I was saying because that rant was a little bit off. But females are invested in their career to
Mhm.
catapult. You know what I'm saying? They, they're not sitting around like asking niggas like for handouts. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of y'all like, oh, they having sex to be on top or they gotta be doing this to be on top. Maybe on their OnlyFans, but in the
Mhm.
industry, they are lining pockets and making people rich. And y'all don't understand that as a man, that's why all the men was getting deals in the beginning. Because we were the hustlers. We were lining the pockets and getting everybody rich without saying anything. Because, like I said in the beginning of the show, y'all, real hustlers know you never gonna be the plug. You only can
Mhm.
have the plug keep you on long enough so you never have to worry about shit. Right? So
Right.
if that's what a real hustler understands, we already know. If anybody can acknowledge anything that the hip hop game was real hustlers turning into businessmen. You know,
Mhm.
legitimizing themselves and turning into businessmen. So if the club throwing you 100 million, 200 million, so what they make a deal? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
who gives a damn? All them niggas, Puffy, Birdman, Jay Z, they quadruple millionaires. Like, they can do whatever they want to do. They're 100 millionaires.
Right.
Billionaires. They do whatever they want to do. Those were the first hustlers. Russell Simmons, those were the hustlers that we followed. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like, honestly, like, those were the hustlers that we said we want to sign to. But then
Mhm.
now, all of the hustlers that are coming up now, where you got led by the Jay Z, because Jay-Z is not a leader. He's not a hustler of the old school. He's still one of our hustlers because he was a rapper signed. You know what I'm saying? So that's how he falls in our class. Where like Russell Simmons was like signing a Jay-Z and shit. So we look at that nigga like that hustler, that nigga actually hustled his way to become a plug. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But he know he's still at the plug. He just went on a different plug. Like everybody's playing the same pool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody said we gonna deal with these same plugs. He said, "Shit, hey." He crept over and said, "Hey, I'm gonna work with y'all. I got this." You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, "Where's Jay at?" They're like, "Where's Jay at?" That nigga over there playing with white people, playing with the real rich people. You know what I'm saying? They still in the same
Mhm.
sandbox, playing with each other money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Really playing with artists' money, playing
Mhm.
with that's what they was doing. That's what Diddy was doing. That Birdman was doing. They're like, shit, we can just keep flipping these. You would love woo woo woo. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Jay-Z said shit. Well, why they want to keep flipping? Why they want to keep flipping the hustlers? I'ma hustle the plugs. I'm a flip with the plugs. You know what I'm saying? So the
Right.
game gets really easier there. So now we ask ourselves, if we're learning from all of these hustlers, what? Why we? What? Yes. I gave him the best advice of his life, actually. You know what I'm saying? I gave him the best advice of his life. Change the music or don't do the music. Because no one's ever gonna no one's ever gonna be work no listen, any artist that's not making yourself approachable, um, call yourself a goodbye. Just have a good night.
Thank
You
you.
know?
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, any artist that's not making yourself approachable, call it a good night. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm sorry. I was like just goodbye. Because at the end of the day, it's all about this game, any game, elevation. The game elevation is all about association, right? People are
Pimp shit.
called,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, for real. People are balloons in life. The more people you associate with, the higher you get to go. I ain't say be friends with now, y'all. Don't y'all not there say I got a small circle. I got to keep my circle small. I didn't say be friends with everybody. But
Right.
trust and believe, you only gonna go as high as your associations. So you keep your circle small and you can keep your association small, but just don't ask for the big things and why these things are not happening because you're limited to your circle. Now don't start talking to me about somebody that's in a circle with billionaires and trillionaires, because like I said, you're limited to how small your circle is. You know. But even Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and all them other rich niggas sit around and figure out how they can work together to make themselves more rich.
Yeah.
You know, they don't sit around and
Fact.
say, "Hey, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, Jeff Bezos, leave. You don't get to hear this." They say, "Call Jeff and see if he went in on this." You know what I'm
Um.
saying? Because they understand that. Now I'm gonna tell y'all a gem that a record label told me, and this is a big record label. It said, "Success." That's what they call me. Success. I said it their way like that because I want y'all to know he was like that. He said, "Success, you got it, man. You really do got it, man." He said, "But you know, your flaw is numbers. Your flaw is numbers." I said, "Ho, ho." I said, "Ho, bruh."
He
I'm,
said what?
he said, "My flaw is numbers." And
Mhm.
I got this. I said, "I just did 20,000 this week. I just did 20,000 this week. And last week I did almost 50. So what you mean? You might not." He said, "No, I'm not talking about your numbers. Your resume is good. Your profile is good." He said, "But I'm talking about you need 10 of you." He said, "Over here we got hundreds of views. We got hundreds of views making us money." He said, "So that's why you need to sign with us, man." He said, "You need to sign with us because we all make money together." I said, "Damn, this nigga just tried to pet me." I said, he tried like hook around the city a little bit, right?
Uh
I
huh.
didn't sign though. I didn't sign though because I knew what he was saying, and the light bulb went off in my head. I said, "Hold on, then." So if I get 10 of me, I can be like y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said. And I get 10 of me. So I said, "Oh shit, I'm gonna start looking for the best artists that I think are on some I want to elevate shit, right?" I started
Mhm.
looking for artists that's like I want to move, I want to learn, I want to follow, right? Because
Mhm.
that's what it's all about. because I fought my mentors and my leaders. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that I follow, man. They ain't Houston, they ain't Cali, they going to be in Rolling Loud. They you know what I'm saying? They officers and stuff like that. And I look at them, I'm like, man, like I look up to y'all. You know what I'm saying? And they say things to me like, man, you know, you doing good. You on the way. You and I'm like, nah, man. It ain't about just being on the way. You know what I'm saying? And
Trying to
that,
be
and that
there.
I put myself in position where here we are 6 months later when now everybody calls me. It's like,
Mm.
oh, look over my contract for me. Tell me if this contract right. What else can I ask for? I had a producer work on a record that won a Grammy, right? And
Mhm.
he calls me. He says, now they want to renegotiate my deal. What more can I ask for? I said, wait, you gonna produce some records? He said, yeah, they want me to produce 3 artists records. I said, well, what they giving you? He said, giving me an advance on that. I said, well, see if you can get a producer's advance too. You know what I'm saying? He's like, what? A
Yeah.
what? I said, yeah, see if you can get a producer's advance and see about your
Mhm.
publishing credit. I said, see if you can get publishing credit. He called me back. He said, man, they just gave me 50% pub and they gave me 50 points. He said, and they gave me a big advance. He said, I
Mhm.
need to send you something. I said, no, you don't. I said, you just need to let me know when tour is. I said, you
Mm.
don't need to send me nothing. I said, you need to let me know when the tour starts. You
Now,
know?
how do you feel about a rappers union?
I think that is a very good idea. Now, this is the thing, though. Only way that a union is going to work. This is why. Okay. Let me go back to my thought. Only way a union is going to work is knowledge has to be shared or fees have to be paid,
Mhm.
and those are two things where the industry is at a crossroads with. Right? Those are two places that the industry battles at. Because this is what I want y'all to know.
Mhm.
This hand is the industry. This hand is knowledge. You know what I'm saying? This hand is
Okay.
industry. This hand is knowledge. And they don't want, if they teach you the knowledge, you don't need the industry.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And they can't freaking just give you that. But now here's the other kicker. When I talk about the pay, and this is why they all go against each other, because artists don't like to pay.
Mhm.
Artists feel like anything coming out of their pocket is stealing from them. It's taken
Mhm.
from them.
Yeah.
So a union would never work because what people don't understand is if you want to set up the industry like the industry, right? You got to
Mhm.
start teaching people like in the industry. And what happens in the
Mhm.
industry when you walk into a job, the first thing they do is sit you in one of those stupid rooms in front of those small little TVs and start telling you all about the company and how things ran, where to go. You know what I'm saying? And like if you make it up to manager, if you're lucky enough to make it up to a manager at a job, everybody get that walkthrough to the safe and they give you the code to the bank and then it's like, yeah, you in charge of the money. You know what I'm saying? Like that's power, right? So
Right.
now, do you believe that in the industry that niggas is about to that the industry people up the top is about to sit people down in front of a little TV and say, "Hey, here's how you make money in the industry. This is what we do. This is how we're gonna do it." And do you
Mhm.
think that at the end of the day they're gonna say, "Hey, you made it up to a supervisor. Here's the keys to the safe. Here's the keys to the
No.
code, and you can open the store in the morning and close the store at night, and we're gonna leave you
Mhm.
here by yourself." Nah, hey, not in this game because it's I hate to keep saying like this, but there are rich people up top that are that are like, what are you doing? You like listen, if y'all don't think that I get inbox messages about and text messages about me telling y'all too much, talking too much
Mhm.
on this show, like y'all like I don't want to call them threats because I don't take threats like that. Like it just be more like, yo, what are you doing? You're talking too much on the show. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to talk about? It's called Boss Biz. We're teaching
Mhm.
how to be bosses. also showing them that we're bosses, and doing our boss
Mhm.
thing. This is boss biz. we don't
Mhm.
we don't want all of y'all to become bosses and not listen to us anymore. We want y'all to grow with us, share y'all boss experiences so that we can share these stories. I was like a kid in a happy place when Papito was telling how he's getting all his money on his royalties and ownership and owning 100% of the stuff. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I cringed a little bit too. I felt like it was something that I needed to say, but I wanted that message that he was getting out to get out. And it
Right.
was so powerful. Like a lot of people don't I don't understand the week that I was having last week. It was really challenging, right? It was a
Mhm.
real like a spiritual awakening week for me, right?
Mhm.
Not religious, not religious guys, because I'm not very religious. But it was a very spiritual week for me. Like it was like opening up my eyes to things and everything that was happening from that interview to the things that happened with me at the dealership to the things that happened with me like at the enterprise, things that happened with me in my Ubers, something that I was in. Everything was like wow, confirmations on top of confirmations on top of confirmations, right? And everybody was saying the same thing to me. And I was like, okay, I get it. Even just watching TV, that message would come across, right? So I let
Mhm.
Papito finish that. But I cringe a little bit because I realized that we gotta stop and take a second, y'all, to understand that we are in a precious, powerful position. And why I say we are in a precious, powerful position is because think about it like this. If you got a school, if you got if you got
That wasn't
exactly.
juice. That was actually champagne. I think it was a mimosa.
But like if you have a school and you go to a school and your school has no playground, your morale is down.
Mhm.
You know, and everybody knows that one kid that was able to say, "Hey, let's play tag, let's play duck duck goose." Let's play
Mhm.
this, and now everybody's having fun. In the music industry, that you're that kid. You you're that kid that sees nothing on the playground and is saying, "Hey, let's play tag, let's play duck duck goose, let's
Mhm.
let's play in the sand, let's play in the dirt." You know what I'm saying? And honestly, you don't want to be that weird kid that's over there and no, my phone. And no, get away from me. And, no,
Mhm.
that scary kid. Like, because those kids, no one wants to even be bothered with. No one cares about. They could go missing and no one would ever know. And they talk about them and put them on the news and talk about it, right? And this industry is the same way. We're those kids. We're creating these groups, so to speak. And with these groups, it's things that you have to give up, like percentages. And, and like the thing about it is, I know that that's scary, guys. It's like, man, I worked so hard on this, and do I really want to give 10%, 20% of it away, 50% of it away, 40% of it away? I mean, some people give up 80%. Some people give up 8% of it, and they take the 20%. And
But what about
and
investing just a 5% into like some type of musicians union that provide maybe benefits later on in life? Like what about like if you're going
this
to
is
give
this
a
is why
percentage of anything, what's
this is
wrong
why
with artists investing in that?
I mean, there's totally nothing wrong with artists that want to do that, investing in that, right?
Hmm.
Now, like the thing about it is, when I hear union, I hear mandatory, like, or else. It's like if you work at a job, if you're not in the union, then you shit out of luck, right? But the
Uh-huh.
thing about it is, like the thing that we asking for about benefits is, should an artist that abuses drugs, right, and several attempts of suicide like that. get the same benefits as an artist who, let's say, clean, vegan, and goes out and gives back to the communities every day, everywhere?
It should be a standard level of it should be a standard level of insurance for everybody, I believe. Now, if you end up in a hospital more so than someone else, then that's when you start to come. There can be maybe a higher out of pocket fee for you, depending on the health evaluation when you're filling out your form for the health insurance initially. So I mean, there's ways that companies could make individuals responsible, more independently responsible for their care. If you require more care, you should maybe pay a more percentage.
Well, like
But it should be
in
a
Bad
standard
Boys
offer
Defense,
across the board.
in Bad Boys Defense, though, Black Rock said he did have insurance while he was working. Is that what he said? Is that what he
Like,
said yesterday?
hmm.
Black Rob said that he did have insurance while he was working, correct?
Yes, he said he had insurance. And then he got sick, and then he thought he was still insured by the label, and come to find out he wasn't. Um, but
See, and Black Rob is the like whoa guy, right?
yes.
Now, what if he's talking about he already had insurance from 20 years ago or 15 years ago?
Um, what do you mean? Hold on. You
What
said
fam?
what?
Like, I mean, like he been out the game for almost 15 years. He just got sick. So did he go to the hospital
No, he was
15
sick
years?
before. He was sick. Like he been in and out of jail. Then he got sick, and that's another thing. Like I do believe that there should be some type of, not a retirement plan, but maybe artists could, if you're gonna pay, if the label's gonna take out whatever 20%, 15%, whatever that is, maybe 2% of that 15 should go to you paying out some type of 401k with the label, or some type of, health insurance plan. There's
Something.
something called Cobra, right? So when you have a job and you no longer work for the company, they offer you health insurance at a higher premium. Maybe that's something that, if you were signed, maybe that's something that they could do, like, I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah.
just feel like it would help. But then again, like you said, people do abuse that,
What's,
which brings
what's
me
crazy? What's
to
crazy
my
is
next question. I have one more question for you. Do you feel like managers are ultimately responsible for the well-being of artists?
yes, that is a yes.
Managers, but not labels?
Managers, but not labels.
And could you please explain why you feel that way?
Now, managers, the key word manage though, being in that, you don't make any money unless your artist is straight. Unless your artist can work
Mm-hmm.
fluently, you don't make any money. Unfortunately, and this is gonna sound cruel, labels make more money off you if you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
So your health doesn't matter to them. Dead or alive, your money's coming with them, right? So
And you know what's fucked up about that? If you're
what?
not productive as an artist, then you're better off dead for the label. That's fucked
No,
up.
no, you're right. But let me tell you something. If you listen, I want y'all to understand something though. A label, eh, labels are not killing you off until you're threatening to mess with their money, right? So, so the
That's
thing
fucked up.
is, you're definitely worth more dead than alive. But
Mm-hmm.
again, guys, I keep telling everybody this shit. It's no different than real life. I got life insurance policy. That life insurance policy is more than what I make in my life if I die for my kids. You know. So I mean, come on, we know what the deals are, man. Like this is no different. This is literally no different than the real world. You say you want to be
Mm-hmm.
an artist, it's no different than you saying I want to start my own company. No different than you saying I want to sell my own shirts. Speaking of shirts, I am wearing one of my own shirts from my website, Sixxcess.com. Y'all go ahead and get y'all one. It's like $22 on my website, Sixxcess.com. But it's
You're
no
happy.
different. Yeah, this is just me. This is just my style. I like the red beanie. It does match with it. It's like me. So it's like, and then Speakerhead. The character's name is Speakerhead, right? Because he speaks his head, speak what's on your mind, freedom of expression and freedom of creativity. But what I'm trying to say is, when you say that you're an artist, it's no different than saying I want to be a doctor. You know, no different saying I want to go to the NBA. Like, if you don't put in the work, you're never gonna get to the NBA. If you don't put in the work, you're never gonna become a doctor. Yes, you may gain a lot of knowledge to like if your homeboy come over with a hurt finger and you want to unjam it for him. You may make a lot of knowledge. You may be a phlebotomist or a CNA or whatever. You may go be like a dentist assistant or whatever in the field. But until you do the steps that it takes to get where you need to get, for everyone that has to do it, it ain't gonna happen. And no field, no field. And the reason why I say like ownership is important because if you run a business, yeah, you get 100% of everything you own in your business. But are you gonna work all day, stand behind the counters and stand behind the racks and run get the drinks? If you open up a club, you're gonna run by your own bartender, your own door, DJ your own shows. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way. I need y'all to stop with this ownership. I want to own 100% because there's no way that you can own 100% of anything and and keep it coming forever. You have to pay people to keep you going. You have to make people words of mouth. I mean, hell, I have a whole staff. I got a staff of 7 people that I have to pay, and if I don't pay them, then success can't be comfortably a success. I can't manage my life. Well, I could manage it by hiring someone else to do it if they need. Right. But I still have to pay them because these are things that have to be done. Because I'm a business and I'm not just a man with a dream. That's where it becomes a difference. I mean, Jezebel here, Balls Biz Radio. Y'all look at the platform and y'all love it. Jezebel worked really hard for years to bring this platform together and still put in work behind the scenes that no one sees. That no one sees. But it's amazing because
Go
you see
crazy.
a lot of people. I see a lot of people popping up with radio shows now, Jezebel.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's awesome. Because everybody has their own audience. And that's what I learned. It's kind of like the pie is so damn big. Like everybody go ahead and get a slice. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look like I'm on a I said that one day I want to come to work. One Monday I want to come to work in pajamas.
You said it do what?
I say one Monday I want to come to work in pajamas.
Work in pajamas. Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll probably start seeing shows where they in pajamas.
Mhm.
They'll,
Yeah.
they'll, they'll get in pajamas. Start doing their shows.
I mean,
Yeah. You
but you
trying
know
to?
what? For some women, because that probably would get guys all riled up. Like show in pajamas in the bed. Start at 3 a.m. Whoever's up is up.
Yeah,
Demon time.
that would be a crazy. You know what? Now let me ask you about this demon time because I'm at the point where, like now, like honestly, I'm learning now. You got to get on Twitter after midnight. You got to get on Twitter after midnight. There's
Uh-huh.
these emojis that start coming around, the devil, and then it's followed by hashtag devil time, and it gets crazy. Now, is it safe to say I am hiring for any personal oil attendants. Now, now, is when he asks for an oil attendant, is that someone to rub oil, or is that someone to work at the gas station? Interesting. Interesting question. Now, what was he saying about slippers
He said, and slippers.
and slippers, huh?
I don't know what slippers are.
No, he said that instead of being in pajamas, it should be pajamas and slippers, like slips. I should be in my
Oh,
pajamas and my slippers. I should be in my pajamas
oh.
and slippers. Yes. Hey, yeah. I'm gonna do that. I got this flash. I got this flash onesie that I
Mhm.
like wearing. I wear it on the holidays. So we should do a special edition show one day, but not no 3 a.m. Not no double time one. No, 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 no.
He said,
Hell no.
not no devil time.
But it's crazy, right? Because now you used to do the show, The Whole Truths.
I still do it.
Now, how did that show come about? Right? Because that's a show that was. I've been on one topic of that. That's an interesting topic in its own. I've been on one topic of that, but like, you still do that show? You still do that
I
segment?
still I still do it. I still have segments. I still receive stories. Well, whole truths, okay? It sounds like whole truths, but if you look at how it's spelled, it's HOE, ho truths. So it's whole shit that you do that you wouldn't tell nobody, like not even your best. Really, you would tell your best friend, but you really don't want to because it might be embarrassing, it might be a little bit too freaky, it might be a little bit too scamish or scandalous, so you don't want to tell nobody, but you tell me and I'll tell your story. You know what I'm saying? I won't tell nobody who you are, where you live at, or anything like that. Like, it's interesting stories. So how I thought about it is, me myself, I used to have crazy ass stories. So, and I would tell my girlfriends, and all of them love my story. Like, they love story time with me because I'm always on some crazy ass shit. So I was like, girl, like, it's like a little, we be joking and shit like that. So I was like, damn, like, I'm gonna try this shit out, and I'm gonna tell one of my stories.
Right.
And I did it. And I did it when we was on Club Plug Radio. So if you really nosy, you could go back and listen and see which story could have been mine. So I told my story, and the reaction was like, everybody in the room was like, "What? Oh my gosh! Oh shit!" So then I put it out there, and rest in peace, Trust. Trust was like, "Girl, you better start a email so people can send you letters," and I ain't take them serious. So I kept doing it, and then, like, lo and behold, one day I was like, "Let me start this shit up," and I started advertising it, and I would meet women and I tell them that I do this segment, and they'll tell me shit. Like, right then and there, they be like, "Girl, well, shit, put this on your show." And I'm
Let me
like,
tell you what that
"Okay."
is. Let me tell you, light bulb just went on my head. Right? Jezebel, Jezebel, you got to hear this. As a matter of fact, I probably should text this, but we got to say it on the air because this is what we do on this show. Like we seem to tell you everything. Jezebel, you got to do an audio book. You should do a whole truth
Yeah,
audio book.
you know what? I met some random girls that told me to do one too. So it's like I've been thinking about it, and like,
Confirmation.
yeah, it's on the bucket list. It's definitely on the
Release,
bucket
release,
list.
release that bitch on iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, and everywhere.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, you could do that kind of like a Trapped in the Closet series, like all of them songs, like track listing.
You
Get with
know
a producer, put the music behind the jump. Hey, and look, and look, I won't even get producer creds, executive producer creds on that or nothing like that. You don't even have to give me no credit for that one. We just need that. We need to get that. So I know you right now. All the producers that's looking at this show right now, we need y'all to tap in.
what?
All y'all beat makers, we need y'all to type in, tap in. We're gonna get ready for the whole Truths audio book. Now,
Yes.
let me tell y'all something that I really wanted to touch bases on last week, and it was I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was a little afraid to touch bases on it because I know people get in their feelings and I know people watch this show, right? But I
Uh-huh.
gotta go in there. We got scammers everywhere. We know this. We know this, y'all. But this is the thing I'm trying to get y'all to understand. What should we expect as indie artists? Not what will happen. Things that we should expect. But we should expect to be scammed by scammers. Now, I'm going to tell y'all one thing for sure, three things for certain.
Mhm.
It's risk, it's rewards,
Mhm.
and it's also common damn sense. Now, if a guy calls you, like my people said, if a guy calls you and tells you he wants you on the show and
Mhm.
he got X amount of dollars for you, and all you gotta do is pay a deposit for a hotel and a fucking celly and a blah 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 blah. Run. That's obviously a scam.
Hold on, wait, because this happened to somebody that I know. Can you say that one more time?
If you're receiving messages
Mhm.
that that they want you to do a show and you
Mhm.
have to pay X amount of dollars for a deposit for a hotel or flight,
Mhm.
you're being scammed.
Yeah, nah, it was something like that, but
If you have to pay money for tours or what they call auditions for tours, you're being scammed.
wait. So if you're an artist and someone's like, "Hey, you want to go on tour, but you got to put down this deposit for your room and hotel," that's a scam.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, let's jump
And the
into
reason I ask is because I'm selling tours, so I want to know why you would say that.
listen to hear me out here. If a person is going to pay you for a tour,
Mhm.
then that person is supposed to pay for your travel. Now, usually how it's supposed to work, if you're going to
Mhm.
give an artist, if you say you're going to do a tour, and I'm going to pay artists to do this tour, and let's say I put in my head I'm giving artist 1,500, right,
Mhm.
to do the tour. Now, if I already know that I'm going to take care of their room and board, or if I already know that I'm going to pay them, then the idea of getting a deposit is preposterous, right? The
Mhm.
real idea is sending them a deposit to lock in the date with a contract that
Mhm.
confirms that they have to meet a certain obligation, and if they don't meet it, then they in return owe you money, right? Um, but see, now listen, like I'm gonna talk about battle rap in a second. Leave that comment right there for a second. But when I say this, like you have to understand something. If I got a budget of $1,500 and I'm paying every artist, and I know I'm gonna book, let's just say the number is 5 artists. I'm gonna book
Mhm.
5 artists, and I know that I want to bring them to town. Then the smart thing for me to do is tell those artists that I'm covering your room and board. I'm putting you in a hotel. I'm gonna make sure that you get your flight because
Mhm.
you're the show. You're the kind of make sure the show goes off without a hitch. So you book their flight, you book their hotel, and most people will book an Airbnb for all the artists to stay in, right? Or a big
Mhm.
ass hotel for all the artists to stay in. Or usually I've seen the cheap route motels. I pulled up and there's been a motel and I'm like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
the thing is, now that 1,500 that they were gonna get, you start taking it out of that. And now you know, all right, I'm not giving you 1,500. I'm giving you maybe 900. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? But when you start saying things like, "All we need is a deposit," these are red flags because usually, if a tour is happening and if the venues are proper, then
Mhm.
you're being paid to put these things together as a promoter, right?
Okay.
So asking artists for deposits to make sure they show up is like weird, right?
Okay.
Because
Yeah. Now I
it's
get
like
it.
Like that's what people like. What other reason would you be asking for? Now, I tell a lot of promoters, I get into it a lot with promoters that say, no, we want to make sure that they show up, or no, we want to make sure that they're serious. I'm like, no, book serious artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, if I want to put together a show, if I'm putting
Mm-hmm.
together a showcase, then that's free game. You know, I'm going in.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm putting together a battle rap, that's free game because a battle rap is a competition and a pot, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like you win, you get something. Like you lose something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about strictly like just performing and what real life happens for artists, right?
Right.
Now, if if you got some artists coming to your city and the promoter of that show hits you up and say, "Hey, you want to open up for these artists?" And they put a fee on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the same. That's paying to play. Now I'm gonna tell all y'all something. Paying to play. I hate the saying now. I didn't understand it early, but I get it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a venue that may cost 5 stacks to rent, it may cost 5 stacks to rent. And if there's an artist that's big enough, and I mean big enough that got your attention to where you want to perform in front of that said crowd, that said genre, because you feel like, I mean, if you feel like, I'm gonna use Pooh Shiesty, if you feel like your style is what Pooh Shiesty is offering, and you gonna blend in with his crowd, and you need to be on front of that stage, then you pay to open up because guess what? People paid for Pooh Shiesty to be there, and that's a pot that you put in to receive or reciprocate the energy off of his crowd, right? So you're not paying to perform in front of Pooh Shiesty. You're paying for something that you will have to do
Mm-hmm.
if you put together your own show. If you put together your own show, you will have to get the venue, you will have to get the tickets, you will have to go out and do all the street marketing and all the footwork by yourself, and that will cost you a lot more money than just jumping on that show that's already put together and organized. As long as it ain't 50 of y'all motherfuckers about to perform for them, you know what I'm saying? Like this, you opening up for them, two people maybe, then that's good deal, right? You and maybe his crew, good deal, right? But when I'm talking about solely like people telling you that audition for this tour. If we need y'all to
Mm-hmm.
audition and y'all get a chance to go on tour, that's a scam. You got to put in your mind as an artist, I'm being scammed. You have to
What you
understand that I'm
mean?
not
That's a scam.
no artist. Look, like what type of tour? If an artist, listen to why I'm saying this because this is this is why I'm saying this,
I'm
Jezebel.
confused.
This is why. Like because what's happening is those showcases are paying for a series of shows. That showcase is paying for a series of shows. And if the artists
Okay.
are really doing it, if the artists are doing their due diligence, they understand that usually if these series of shows are not structured around that artist, then it's not that artist's tour, right? This is just
Mm-hmm.
a series of it's like let's okay. So I'm gonna put a tour together, and this is what I would do. This is what I do if I'm scamming. Um, I know venues, right? I got let's say I got 7 venues where there's a show every day of the week here in Georgia. I can really take now I can literally take an artist. I mean, you have the ability that you can call up a promoter and put an artist on a show every night, right? Now, in your head, it's like, all right, I already know how much it is to get in these shows. I already know what the formula is and everything like that. So I run a show and I tell them, yeah, we're all going on tour. Now I'm just going to be putting them in front of a bunch of other rappers and moving on to a bunch of other showcases that's in front of a bunch of other rappers. That's not a tour. You know what I'm saying? That is a series of shows, but it's not catered to get you any real headway. Now, a real tour, when you say that, you have to like let artists know, like, look, you are putting up your money and we're getting a bus, we're getting a van, we're getting you know what I'm saying? We're getting this. We have the venues already locked in, and this is what we're gonna do. Now it's gonna cost X amount of dollars to get merch. It's going to cost X amount of dollars to get the bus, the van, or whatever we're going to get there. And this is how we need to do it. Now, the thing about it is, and I'm telling you, if you want to put together a tour, like the way to really like put that shit together is to bring the core artists together that you want. Right? This is like a real gem because this is how it's done with Motown. This is how Motown did it, right? And this is how Universal does it. It's like they grab up a bunch of new artists, and it's like, all right, how can we get all these new artists? Well, if the artist doesn't come in with his own group, you know what I'm saying, like an ASAP Rocky or like an Tentacion, or you know what I'm saying, then they get thrown with groups, right? But when
Mm-hmm.
usually now all the new rappers are coming in with groups. You know, you got ASAP group, you got what was Kendrick Lamar's group, TTD or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Dirt, OTF, and shit like that. Lil Baby, you know his group, and they all got their groups, right? And the reason why they got these groups is because they're understanding it's touring, how touring works, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if a venue is going to always make sure that talent is paid. So if you locking in 5 venues as a tour promoter and a talent buyer, you know what I'm saying? You working out your percentages with the clubs. You working out however that shit is going to work with the club. You working out your merch and all the artists are working out their merch, and then y'all are on the road together. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like uh, a challenge or a contest. You know, the tours are earned, and like
But it can't. I mean, I believe you, but then I feel like you're talking about people that achieve a certain status. There are some people that is just beginning and actually just want to get their music out there. Like they
correct.
understand the online and behind the computer game, but they also want to fill out the crowd. So they themselves may just pay to get on a tour that just takes them to a few showcases in another state or another city or across the nation just to get just to get familiar with different crowds.
No, and
So
like
to
no,
them it's worth the investment to
yeah,
pay $3,000 to go to 3 or 4 cities and perform in front of at least 200 to 500 people each time, like
no,
especially
correct.
during the pandemic.
No, correct. That is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm talking about the wording of how things are worded and the
Hmm.
expectations behind them. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I
So
don't. I
would you
don't.
not consider that like a promotion tour?
I mean, like I would not consider any type of like the tour I'm on right now isn't a promotional tour, isn't a isn't a. I mean, it's just a series of showcases. It's really just
Mm-hmm.
it's really just to be showing face, right? It's really just
Mm-hmm.
getting out. But there's no focus around me. There's no when I walk into the venue, people don't know success is. You know what I'm saying? They're not there for success. Everyone is there for an opportunity to showcase themselves. You know, so it's really not a tour. It's just you put in work on a series of shows, and when you pay for that, you don't. I messed up money worth ways. Exactly. When you pay for these things, you can't you gotta make sure that you don't word them the wrong way because of expectations and way things look come on wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because if you tell your fans, because let's just say you're at a point where you have diehard following fans, if you're telling them that you're doing a tour and now they're buying tickets to come out and see you, and 20, 30 rappers are going up before you. You don't know what time you're going up. You don't like not like I'm just telling you like you mess up your brain. You know what I'm saying? You make yourself look weak. You know what I'm saying? So when you go out there, like when you go out there, you have to understand as an indie artist the expectations. You have to expect these things, and you have to put into your mind a new hustle of that. You know what I'm saying? You got to put a different hustle above that. That's why a lot of people ask me, why don't you tell us about shows? Well, most of the shows I do are showcases. People in my inbox like, hey, you want to come out tonight and show and perform? And some of them you get paid for, most of them you don't. But it's
So
just
why
like
don't
you look at
artists throw their own shows? Like artists that are definitely confident in their numbers, I mean their music do extraordinary numbers. Why don't artists throw their own shows? That way they
because
can
the
pay.
sandbox, the playground theory. You know what I'm saying? Because look, as an artist, if you really popping for real. And a lot of people think that they're popping because when they go to shows and all the rappers are in there, and you know how if you've been to any of, not you, Jezebel, but if you've been to any of our shows, you realize how we always make it a thing after every artist, crowd participation. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I've seen that joint give so many artists a false perception of themselves. Now, Jezebel, you know this as a fact. We seen artists that literally come into the show, no one knows them, they perform, we tell them, yo, that was dope, that was good shit. Yo, you should definitely come back next week. And then they come back next week and they superstars, glasses on, shit in the club.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, got no drink, don't give a fuck what you talk about. They all like, when I'm gone. Oh, because you told them they good. Like, nigga, I told everybody in here they good, bro. Calm down. Like, you ain't got to be trying to hold me up. You know what I'm saying?
That's
But I just need y'all artists to really understand something, young. Like, y'all have to expect these things, bro. Like, it's people in my inbox right now telling me that they record labels. It's people in my inbox right now telling me that they got all these connections, and it's all they need is $200, $300, $1,000, $5,000. I had one person tell me he wanted $15,000 and he could make me as big as NBA YoungBoy, and I was like, no, no, no. How much to be big in
15,000.
NBA I just say, hey, how much is it to be bigger than NBA young boy then? Shit. I mean, goddamn. Is that the pinnacle? Is that what you thought I wanted to be? You know what I'm saying? But that's what he said, right? So if y'all don't think that I see all these joints, I'm telling y'all like yeah. But hey, you know, like you gotta know where your career and where you want it to be, right? Because
Mhm.
honestly, for me, the reason that I jumped into showcases wasn't because wasn't because I really just liked performing at clubs or going to clubs. It was because the stigma, right? When you performing in clubs, people give you a different feel. I came from community centers and schools and performing at the jails, you know what I'm saying, like Cheltenham and shit for the kids. Like that was all my career. And then I would be in my comic groups and people would be like, you're not a rapper, you do music for the kids and woody woody woo. And I said, hold up. So I said, let me go into the clubs and show I can do clubs and blah blah blah, right? Or show I'm comfortable. And really all this stuff is just to show you comfortable because it's putting on your resume, you know. But y'all know that's gonna continue this next week as usual. Now I want to talk about my Success Express question of the day, and I kind of been talking about it all day, but it's like working on projects, percentages, and splits. Who gets what and why? Now I need y'all to understand something that these splits and these percentages are very important, and a lot of people's percentages and splits are different. Some people say it's based on importance. Some people say it's based on who puts up the most money. I say it's always it's always about you and the person that you're working with. Now producers are usually getting about 3 to 6%. Um, but if it's you and your homeboy in the basement working on this music together, he's making the beats and you laying down the vocals, get that man 50%, man. I mean, hopefully both of y'all got y'all publishing companies and y'all will be getting 100%. But do that. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're talking about percentages, it's tricky because you kind of want to get rich together. You kind of don't want to make anybody rich that don't need to be getting rich, but you kind of gotta also make sure that y'all eat as a group. So when you're working on a project and you're thinking about splits, think about the time that all of y'all are putting in there. Think about the project and what you're actually giving to the project. Because there's a lot of people who feel like, hey, I said this, I said you should say that in this song, and they feel like they should get a percentage. And I gotta tell y'all that the sad fact is, if you're in the studio with one of your homeboys and he said you should say this, and you say it, by law you owe him a percentage. Now that's for y'all to work out. But when it comes to percentage,
Why you
every,
starting shit?
now I'm just saying, like, that's true. That's true. That's
It
a
is, but
law.
dang.
That's law. If your homeboy say you should say that, you should get a percentage. If that producer is making that beat all day long, and that's your homeboy, get that man 50-50, man, and y'all work together on pushing that record. Because I'm gonna tell y'all like this: if your man wants to try to move your record for you, he really has no incentive to move it if he doesn't have as much percentage as you. So when you ask him why he's not promoting your record and he worked all day on it with you, well, you decided to give him no percentage. So fuck your record. When he's asking why no one is, why all these people in the studio but nobody wants to share it and nobody wants to do this, well, you gave him no percentage. So fuck your record. And that's just how the game works. Even in the industry, you have to give percentages to the labels. What are they gonna say? Fuck your record. All you people out there signing distribution deals and signing up these label deals and not taking any advantage, if you're not giving the label any money, they're gonna say, fuck your record. So that's what I gotta say when it comes to my success expression question of the day. You know, make sure you're giving out those percentages. Now I've been blessed, Jezebel, for the last week or so to not run into any huff after my situation at Union City. Have you ran into any huff?
um, no. Where was I last week? In Orlando. Then I came home. Yep, shit's been pretty good over here. I think I got some gorilla cookies
Ooh,
and some pink diamond OG again. And then I had some blueberry something strong.
mm. Well, I'm gonna get my hands on some ice cream dono. I'm still smoking on some wedding cake right now, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm hoping all of everyone out there are really enjoying themselves, enjoyed their weekend, and enjoyed our show as always. It was a great Monday. Jezebel, what we got coming up?
Your birthday.
Yeah, my birthday is gonna be lit. I don't know what
No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
do.
be gone. I'm gonna be gone for a couple of weeks. So this week I'll be going to Puerto Rico. I'll be back on Sunday, so I'll be back, guys, Monday. And then I don't know what I'm doing that following weekend. I haven't decided yet, but I'll be somewhere. So, we won't
Well,
return till the second week of May.
all I want for my birthday,
You know, you
guys, is
gotta live
everybody to
sometime
live.
too.
Like I ain't going back out of country. I ain't
Platinum
getting on no
punch.
date. Oh, platinum punch is nice. Okay, man,
So
man.
you don't have any idea what? So like, what if you could do anything on your birthday? What would it be other than smoke good weed?
Okay,
Like,
so
what would be
I,
your
I
ideal?
want to fly. I want to fly out to Cali.
Mm,
I want to fly out to Cali. So I told my manager. He was saying that he might make that happen. So if that happens, then lit. But I just got word that I have to go to Miami. So yeah, be checking for me. I'm gonna be hitting down Rolling Loud too. So y'all definitely be checking for me because I'm gonna be at Rolling Loud this year. And I wasn't even supposed to say it on the show this now, but I did. I would say that Orlando. but but yeah, man, that's crazy. But yeah, I got some nice things. I'm working on some crazy things right now. Some crazy things, man. Like some crazy things
okay.
coming up. So
You got
I'm
any
getting ready.
favorite flavor? Any favorite flavored cake? Like, do you do ice cream cake or cheesecake, or does the wife
You know
bake you
what? Like,
something?
so my favorite cake is strawberry cake. I accidentally ate a piece of red velvet cake, and that joke was good. But I like strawberry shortcake. But for real, I don't be eating shit. Hey, look, hey Tony, you better cry, and I'll try, man. Like
Uh,
just don't try sneaking on me though. Don't try sneaking on me though. Just a little bit. Some seafood now, young. I would really love some seafood. They don't have no seafood here in Atlanta. No real crabs, you
have
know.
you been to
So
crazy? Is it Crazy Crab or Queen Crab or Crab Queen? Have you
juice.
been to
Oh,
Crab
there's a
Queen? I
juicy
heard it was
crab.
good.
I have
Hmm.
not been to Crab Queen. I have not been to Crab Queen.
I heard it
So
was good.
I have a confession, y'all. I hate going to the restaurants down here. My wife has taken me to. She's taken me to all of the celebrity restaurants. So I've been to Blaze, like everywhere, Love and Hip Hop wise, everything they open, I've been to.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, everything in Atlanta is like a club, right?
Hmm.
So it's a line to get in, line to eat, line to get out. So I'm one of those people that don't like lines. You know, I don't like standing outside. I don't like standing around waiting. So, yeah, man, I'm trying to stay in. I really don't want to do much. I'm really gonna do much. I mean, you don't eat crabs. You better start. Oh
Mm.
wait, are you allergic to crabs?
I got some.
So look, Jezebel,
I
it
got some in the
is.
microwave right now. Um.
We have been like I have been told by my good friend Tony that our show doesn't feel like it's 2 hours. So that's good.
It doesn't.
That's good.
Thank
That's
you,
good.
Tony. Thank you, guys.
Hey, yeah,
Well,
it
it's
is
tourist
y'all got.
season, so we finna
It
turn up.
is.
Right, Success. You finna
Anybody got
turn up.
iHeartRadio? Anyone that has iHeartRadio, the app, download the radio
I think
station
so.
Hip Hop 95. You can hear my single and my jingle on that joint. Going crazy, y'all. I'm going crazy. And y'all like so y'all already know what time it is. At this
Hold on,
time,
wait. One more thing before you close out the show. You didn't
tell me.
drop anything for your birthday?
Nope, nope. I got a major push for June 6th. Vesto
Okay.
6. Y'all,
Okay.
listen, like I got the singles out already. Glow,
Okay.
Gem, Zone,
Hmm.
and Pam. Pam is the latest single that I just dropped.
Okay.
Y'all, the numbers going crazy. All those tracks on their way to 100,000. Of course, Glow is over to 300,000. That jump is on the radio down here in Atlanta going crazy. It's on its way to 300,000 streams. The numbers is going crazy on there. And I want to thank everybody that's been listening, that's been supporting me all this time. And on my birthday, I asked that I play it all on repeat and post videos playing it, post videos, and I'll share them.
Okay.
So Jezebel,
All right. You.
I know next week's show is going. Next week we're going to touch on some real life topics that I've been dodging for a while, but they have been getting us
Yeah.
some really good headway and conversations on my Facebook page. So I feel like it is time for me to address the public. So next week I will be
Why we
addressing
gotta wait so
the public
long?
on real life issues that I
Well,
have
why
not
we gotta
spoken.
wait so long? Also, because I definitely wanted to touch on some things too, but you're more laid back, so I didn't want to get all serious and holy on y'all today. But yeah, got some things for you.
Yeah. So y'all definitely strap in your seatbelts and be ready for next Monday because we're going crazy. So Jezebel, maybe it is sooner or later. Maybe we'll talk about it off air. But at this time, I know you guys are flicking your ashes, putting out those J's, and getting ready to roll up another one. Because I know I am. And we
Damn right.
out.
Bye, y'all.